Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the Sports Corner. I am your host, Jesse Jones. I was given a shirt that doesn't quite fit. They make them a little too small for my sporting physique. Once again, Darth Tater joining us here this week. And once again, for the second week in a row, we have GLCW. Scott Chase, Mr. Mike Flash. Gentlemen, well, Mike, thank you for coming back.
Oh, absolute pleasure as always.
And I'm surprised you found the place.
Well, thanks.
But we went into you having a bombshell to drop this week.
Oh.
And, well, you're probably going to try and speak or think or do what you do best and just sit there and stare. Win. Well, okay. So, once again, we'll open up the floors, because I seem to, well, you really don't have anything to say. You can start off this week, Mike.
Well, thank you, Jesse. As we touched on last week, that this is probably the biggest thing to happen to the Ontario circuit in a long time. I mean, the buzz on this is incredible. PWA coming to GLCW. It's huge. I mean, this is the kind of thing that a fan of either PWA or GLCW is just craving. It's going to be great. It's going to be profitable. And it's a great idea.
So you're looking to cash in. Well, so we'll get into that in a minute. You have to say your opening comments.
Well, I wasn't going to come back, I will admit. You kind of get on my nerves. I'll be real honest about that. But I'm here, so let's just get on with it. Ask your little questions, do your little Darth Tater, whatever you got to do.
I don't do Darth Tater. He sits here and plays with his lightsaber. Phil wanted to.
He actually has a lightsaber.
Maybe that's why Scott's jealous.
That's funny.
Oh, it's probably so true. Because we know he doesn't have balls, but it did take balls to come down to a PWA show on Niagara on the 7th, in Niagara on the 7th, and attack. Who did you jump?
It doesn't matter who I jumped, because according to the police, I wasn't even there. You know what? I got a question for you.
I asked the questions.
No, I'm going to ask the question right now. I want to know. Look me right in the eye right now and you tell me, PWA or GLCW? What side are you really on?
That's his question. I mean, that question has been asked so many times to me over the last couple of weeks. Mike Flash, are you angry? Are you upset that PWA is set to invade GLCW? Well, before I answer that, I need to explain a few things. You see, Jesse, I'm a businessman. Mm-hmm. And as a businessman, there are three things that drive me in this world. First being the finer things in life. Nice cars, beautiful women, a fine Cuban cigar, which, by the way, thank Mr. Habanero for the cohibas that I was sent. They were fantastic.
Not a problem. He's good for something.
Yeah. Number two is opportunity. And number three, it's a challenge. And when GLCW started 5 years ago, we had a great opportunity, and we seized it, and it was a challenge to get the fan base that we did. And as a result, we had some of the finer things. But as I mentioned last week, success can breed complacency. Mm-hmm. And we've got a solid fan base in Brantford and in Woodstock, which are by far and away the most lucrative markets in southern Ontario right now, you'll have to admit. Yep, the fans are dedicated, they're knowledgeable, and they're willing to part with their money to come and see a great show. Well, when you're the only game in town, sometimes you rest on your laurels. You get a little weak. Well, sometimes if you put a bug into somebody's ear, things happen. You know, a good businessman has one eye on the road in front and one eye on the rearview mirror. PWA, strong upstart, I have a lot of respect for them. They kind of remind me of GLCW in its infant stages. And they've been doing shows in Cambridge, Goderich, all over the place. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they ever really thought about, what about Brantford? What about Woodstock? We could be bigger than we are. Sometimes you just need a little bit of a push. And, well, it looks like that little push, that little bug in the ear, has generated a little buzz.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Now, GLCW, on the other hand, well, as you can see from what happened in Niagara Falls, they don't take lightly to outsiders coming in and taking what's theirs. And Scott Chase, to your credit, you went down there and you stood up for GLCW and you kicked. I can't say he did it. He stood up for GLCW, and I haven't seen that fire in you or in GLCW for years. So, am I upset that PWA wants to invade GLCW? Well, the answer is no, because it's my idea. Now, before you go and start pointing fingers, let me stress one thing here, Scott. There is not one person in the GLCW locker room who bleeds the colors of GLCW more intensely than I do. Because I was there when it started. And I will be there when it goes out, when I say it goes out.
That's what I needed to hear.
So PWA, I have a great deal of respect. But GLCW needed a kick in the teeth. They needed that fire lit under their butt. They needed to be put into a corner so that they could be like dogs, just clawing and scratching and clawing and scratching for what they believed in. And well, in the end, everyone's a winner. GLCW, stronger than ever. PWA, going from here to here, maybe getting a territory. And me, I sit back and I enjoy the benefits.
Well, you talk about clawing and scratching. I think that's what cats do, not dogs. And talking about pussies, we've got one sitting right here.
You know what? I already warned you. I warned you. I like your little answer there with the GLCW, and that was the right answer. You're part-time on a borrowed dime. You think you're going to get the rub off GLCW? The rub, if you want to use insider terms on this show? You're not, all right? March 12th, 2006. I'm just going to let it all unfold. Actions are going to speak for themselves.
Yes, and your actions have spoken for your career. But, ladies and gentlemen, that was our introduction, and we'll be right back after a short little clip.
First of all, let me say it's such a pleasure to be back in the city of Woodstock. I worked at K104 alongside some greats like Brad Jansen, like Ed Saunders, and that station would still be in business if the city of Woodstock would have supported it. But now, like everybody else in this town, you turned your back on that station. You turned your back on the chick, and you turned your back on me. Now, JQ, I know, hey, no, Power King. I know you're a little hot because you're a little lighter this time, about 15 pounds, and it's not thanks to Jenny Craig. Now, I know you're crazy. I know you're wacky. And I knew that this was going to happen, so I went to the Woodstock Police Department, and I asked them, I begged them for a restraining order against you. And just like the typical white and blue of Woodstock, the white streak ran down their back, and they said no. So take you as the marketing director for GLCW, as the marketing director, I had to take my own precautions. So JQ, let me go with that. You just tell us around what's going on. JQ, I had to get my own restraining order. I hired my own restraining order. Bring out Magnus.
That's a nice shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yours is a little old.
Staff.
Yeah. Staff. Anyway, so we saw there, Mike, you in Woodstock Jaw-jacking with the idiots.
Yeah, well, Woodstock has a lot of them.
It's true. I hate to quote it, but it's so true. What we're going to do here is we both have your feelings. We need your feelings. What you talk about bleeding blue and this and that and everything else. Why? Like, what is it that GLCW is so special? You ran, as you stated last week, 4 shows in all of 2005. PWA did that in 2 months.
Yep.
They had tons more plans until somebody went and screwed that up. So, what makes you think that they're not just going to wipe you off the map?
I'll tell you, GLCW, you talked about last week, you wanted to put it on air and say that I had a heart attack. That is right. You know what? After I had a heart attack, 30 days later, I was in the ring winning the PWX Pro Division title. 30 days after a heart attack. I want everyone else to realize, and they have to respect that chase, GLCW is the old school. It's the way that indie wrestling should be run. The top talent only apply. Everyone's been proud of it. You get all the boys together. Everyone's proud of it. It's a wrestling ran organization. You got monkeys like this, put in their 2 cents, but the boys run the show. You're going to turn your back on the boys by trying to invade with PWA, you're going to be sadly mistaken.
Can we lose this invasion thing? God, it's driving me nuts. When's the last time an invasion was any good? When's the last time an invasion panned out like the fans wanted it to?
It never.
I'll be honest, I'm playing your little game right here. And I'm playing this little game with the little cat and mouse, your little questions. I don't believe a word that's coming out of your mouth. And I don't know if I believe a word that's coming out of your mouth right now. So I'm going to sit here and listen to your bullshit. March 12th comes around. You two aren't saying and acting like what you're saying that you're going to be doing. And if GLCW isn't on your chest by the end of the show, I'm going to punch a hole right through your chest.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
He's got a bit of a temper, right?
But this is what's been lacking, and this is again the whole idea.
But see, it could be more blinding for him. He's going to walk in there with guns ablazing, and he's going to shoot himself in the foot.
Well, you see, if it was just him, I'd be afraid. But when you have an entire roster that's fighting for what they believe in, well, I'd take that any day over a promotion that sort of sits back and goes, "Whoa, hey, look at us, we're great, woo, we've done 3 shows in 7 months, woo."
But you talk about having a whole roster. You went alone to Niagara Falls. You didn't have backup.
No, I didn't.
And according to the sports word, no one wanted to go with you because they didn't want to get involved in all of this.
Yep, that's all right. You know what? I have faith in a certain amount of boys, and I know that when it comes down to it, GLCW has made a name for a lot of, including yourself. Where do you think the nickname Mr. Sub came from? It was from the GLCW fans.
Yeah, and I do not appreciate that. I would actually...
But it's been gold for you. GLCW has helped put a lot of people on the map here in Ontario. It's got the most prestigious titles. Not just because I'm wearing one of them, but you look back through the history, Ontario title, you've got Flex Falcone have the title, Cody Steele, Reggie Marley, big ticket, it goes on and on.
And not to mention that the Ontario title being as prestigious as it is, the GLCW is prestigious. The titles, that's great, but the history involved in GLCW far outshines. Whenever you bought a ticket to a GLCW show, you were guaranteed a good time. You could chant Ryan Malcolm at me till the cows come home. You can love me, you can hate me, but when you put your $5, $10 down, you're going to go home absolutely entertained. And that is what builds greatness. And that is what I see in PWA. And I still see a little in GLCW, but they're turning the corner.
So, well, we won't jump the gun here and say, as I did last week, that you're going to be finished after you said March 12th. So, what we're going to ask is, if by chance the GLCW does come out on top, all right, GLCW wins, what is the future plans for Great Lakes Championship Wrestling?
Do you want to answer this, or do you want me to?
He's got the gift of the gab today, so I'm just going to let him talk.
Future plans at GLCW is just continuing to run the top shows in Ontario. You look at the names that have come through GLCW. You look back, history, Eddie Venom, guys from Michigan, the late Stevie Lee, main event of the show in Woodstock. I don't see the names coming on PWA. We use some similar talent, but trying to compare PWA and GLCW, there's no comparison. GLCW is going to show that.
Well, you know, Jesse, whatever happens March 12th, I have no control. You know, as the commissioner, I can set rules, I can set guidelines, but as I mentioned, a little competition can be healthy. I mean, let's take a look at the professional leagues. That crap they've been spewing out in Stanford for a long time, whew, man, that's almost as bad as an EWF show was. But now, with a little competition, whoo, all of a sudden, you know, guys bring their games up a little bit. A games instead of B- games. So, regardless of what happens, and I'm sure it's going to be an entertaining one for the fans that you'll want to be there to see.
So the future looks bright if you end up coming out on top.
I'd like to think that once the smoke and the dust settles, both promotions will be different than they were. No one will be the same after this. And it will be for the better. And I think Scott Chase is poised to lead the GLCW team into March 12th. Because I have faith, believe it or not, I have tried to wrest the Ontario title from this guy for however many months. I mean, Bob Cajun, hello, I had to go so far as to take the title and knock him out so I could take it to the back. And thanks to your help, by the way. But I think Scott Chase, with his new attitude, the look, he's been working out, folks. He looks great. I think Scott Chase might just be that spark in the GLCW dressing room that it's been lacking.
Well, we'll have a comment here for Mr. Chase as soon as we come back.
But anyway, I'm going to make this short and sweet. Scott Chase, I took you under my wing. I helped you. Shut up. And now you have something against me? Please, this isn't going to work. Sean Spears is going to make short work of you, just like everyone else has.
This is Asylum, and you're watching the Sports Corner with Jesse Jones.
Seriously, though, everywhere but the electric chair, get some new material.
What do you have? Mike Flash. What kind of name is Mike Flash?
It's all right, gentlemen. It's all right. Don't worry about all that.
Oh,
Just had to
That's interesting.
go and...
that's the shirt that I've been hearing so much about.
Oh yeah, I just had to make a change. You know, you can buy this on the Pure Wrestling website, purewrestling.cjb.net. Make sure you pick yours up today. Support the winning side of this team. But like I said, Scott, we're going to come back with a question. I think PWA is going to come out on top because it has younger talent, it has more fine wrestlers, and they're not, well, as unstable as you are. So when the PWA wins, and I'm pretty sure if I put in a good word for you, you'll get to keep your contract and we'll keep you around. Who would you like to wrestle? Your dream match or your dream partner, seeing how you like to do tag team so much?
Dream match. If I was to wrestle for PWA. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think it's ever going to happen as long as you got idiots like Joey Hallam as management for PWA. But I know for a fact that he cannot not use me for this area. Like, let's be honest here, Jesse Jones. But my dream match will be whoever the PWA heavyweight champion will be. That's my match. That's the match I want. That's the match you got to give me. If Marley has any guts, I beat Reggie Marley so many times over the years. So many times. He might have beat me once or twice, you know. But you can go through the history and read his little win-loss record. He's got a lot of L's on there.
I think you're putting Mike to sleep there. Sorry. I was almost bored to death.
Well, it happens when Scott Chase talks. Or wrestles.
It's not just Scott Chase, and this is what I've been trying to cement, is the fact that this is what GLCW has become.
Yeah, they went from a glorified up-and-coming child to a heart attack dying old man.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say dying, but in its latter stages, yes. But this is what really drove me to try and see what I could do to work something, because GLCW has an incredible history, an incredible legacy. I mean, the shows that we ran out of the Regency Boxing Club in Hamilton, I mean, you were hard-pressed to find a better old-school, traditional, entertaining, family-friendly show back in the early 2000s. I mean, it was truly one of those eggs, those Fabergé eggs that you want to just hold and you go, wow, this is beautiful, this is great. And now it's like those eggs you color at Easter that, you know, go that turquoise color and then just kind of, they just fall apart and you throw them away because they suck.
Or you forget about them and then they end up stinking 4 or 5 months later.
Exactly. And you see, I don't want that to happen to GLCW because, again, I was there when it was that Fabergé egg. I was there when it was basically hatched out of the ass of Shockwave Wrestling. I don't want it to become that egg that you throw in the garbage. And that is the only reason why I've been kicking your ass for the last 7, 8 months, is trying to motivate you. You're better than you've been. Okay, you are, God, you were one half of the Texas Hellraisers. You and Eric Dawson used to kick ass, not kiss it. Come on. That's why GLCW needed this. That's why PWA is coming into our backyard, into our ring, into our arena to try and take what you, what Quinson, what Flex, what the great Jerry Martell, what myself, what we built. Now, are you willing to let that happen?
No.
Are you going to let that happen?
Hell no.
Well then, let's get on the same page, my friend. Let's go forward. Let's not step back. And as I'm saying this, I do want to stress one thing, Jesse Jones. I have absolutely the greatest amount of respect for the entire roster of PWA. Many men who have walked through the curtains at a GLCW show. Sean Spears, who was a young green rookie, came on, wrestled a hell of a match for us, and we didn't even know who he was. And now look at him. He's a star. He's going to be a bigger star. Cody Steele, Cody Diener. That kid, I remember when he was a $110 soaking wet. And now look at him. He's the only guy I know who can rock a mullet and make it look cool. And above and beyond that, Quinson Valentino. Now you can like Quinson, the person, the wrestler. You can hate Quinson, which I know a lot of guys do. But respect the fact that this guy has busted his ass for GLCW for a number of years. The same can be said for Flex Falcone. The same can be said for Jerry Martell. I know he's out east now, and I know he's out of the business, but that guy was a true talent and a true lover of GLCW to the end. And never questioned my loyalty to GLCW. I have loved this promotion from day one. I'm not a guy that gets in the ring. I can't be like you. I might not be able to back up in the ring what I say. That's why I surround myself with guys who can.
Oh, no, absolutely.
But you do it. As do Eddie Osborne. As do Eliana Habanero. As do any number of PWA wrestlers. But the fact of the matter is, GLCW has a legacy that will not be tarnished by laziness. And if I have anything to say about it, you're damn sure I'm going to. Because Ryan Malcolm was the Canadian Idol, and now look at him. Mike Flash is no Canadian Idol. Mike Flash, the last time I checked, was the commissioner of GLCW. But know this, PWA, and again, no slight to you. If you dream, PWA, If you dream of coming into our backyard, into our ring, into our arena, if you even dream about coming in and kicking GLCW's ass, you better wake up and apologize.
Well, we were talking here, and well, you were talking here, and
I get a little fired up.
no, that's all right. You two seem to be a flaming couple. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back here with our name association.
And what is...
Oh, I'm the 21st Century Fox, and you're watching the Sports Corner with Jessy Jones.
I really am. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take over. I know this is your show.
Oh, that's why I have guests here, Mike, and I'm very...
When did he get here?
Oh, yeah, he's been Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You were once again there, sitting and watching. We had a couple more clips. Tag team celebration, winning tag team titles. We had highlights from you versus the Highlanders.
Great team.
But now, like I said, we're going to get into the name association. Gentlemen, this name will be for both of you, so you decide who's going to answer first, who's not. And we'll start off with Quinton Valentino.
Quinton, I've had words with the guy. Like him or not, like Mike Flash said, you can like him, you dislike him, I don't think he really cares. But Quinton, a lot of people used to dog on him when he first started, and he proved everybody wrong. Like him or dislike him. And look where he was on WWE.
I will say this, and this is what they call a shoot. He truly is a friend in a business where friendship is almost as taboo as the word kayfabe. I don't know.
The
South made it up.
Oh, okay.
Southside Stranglers.
I wrestled Southside Strangler number 3, and I'll tell you, you brought him in to try to take the title off me. You brought in a hired bag of milk. What were you doing? It was me carrying around a dead guy, wondering what the hell was I even doing in there. I had to carry this guy, put him on my shoulder, make it look like he was wrestling a match, and then I get a hit in the head with a belt by you.
That was me.
And you two little monkeys were all in there.
I will say this about Southside Strangler number 3. He's a fine man. A good family man.
TJ Harley.
I don't know. You guys are pile on if you ask me. TJ Harley, anytime you want to step in the ring with the old outlaw, we try to team up, you didn't get it done. I had to throw you out like a piece of trash.
He was truly one of those wrestlers who was the proverbial whipping bag early, but has grown into an immense talent and has still a bright future ahead of him.
Ruffy Silverstein.
Ruffy, my man. He's a hell of a wrestler. Any type of style you want to work, Ruffy can get it done.
In and out of the ring, class act. Absolutely. And a very worthy and deserving champion in any promotion.
We have Notorious Till I Die.
Knows the business. He's a true pro, tough as nails. He doesn't, he's deceptively a big guy. You might not think that TID is as big as he is until you get up face to face with him, or in my case, I've had to wrestle TID, and I never realized that he's a very big boy, very strong, very powerful. He's a great worker.
And another one of those guys who sometimes gets a bum rap from fans, the smart marks. He's done more in this business than some of these kids that like to type on their computers have done in, their wet dreams.
Danger Boy Derek Wild.
I've never had the opportunity to face Derek Wild. A lot of it is I think he's ducking me. But I'm willing to put on the sports corner right now an open challenge to Derek Wild. If he ever wants to step up to the plate, I'll knock him down just like I'm going to do you.
I can't follow that. I will just say that Derek Wild was the cornerstone, one of the cornerstones of Neo, and one of the promotions that really inspired GLCW to put out a strong product, albeit a different one, just because the market was calling for something different.
Hayden Avery.
Let me start with that while you formulate an answer.
Right.
Hayden Avery, who probably has the horrible distinction of being the guy in that battle royal. I've only worked with him a couple of times, but the first time I really got to sort of work with him was in Bob Cajun, and he was working his gimmick as one of the Hanson brothers. And he's a funny guy. And he can sport the leopard skin tights like nobody's business. And I'm a straight man. I wear a ring for a reason.
Hayden is a handsome man. I gotta admit it.
He's flaming.
Yes, we knew that. Gentleman Jeff.
Bobby Bowtie.
Gentleman Jeff, another guy who probably gets a bum rap from a lot of people, especially the message board rats, but by far and away the best ring announcer by far in any promotion in Canada, and probably should be doing a lot more and getting paid a lot more, and get a lot more recognition than what he is right now. But he should keep an eye out for another guy who's really close behind as far as ring announcing goes. That's one Mike O'Shea.
Speaking next, the next name on the list, Mike O'Shea.
Great ref.
Of course, he helps you win your titles. Mike O'Shea, great guy with an absolutely adorable little daughter who can walk and my son can't yet. So, damn it all.
Reggie Marley.
Big ticket, Reggie Marley. Like I said, I've never beat on anybody so much in my life. But,
Except himself.
Yeah. But I do respect Reggie in the ring. He is a tough competitor. But he's no Scott Chase.
Really, who is? Reggie Marley, I do have to say though, is he's one of those guys that scared the hell out of me the first time I met him. Bumbleclad. He can put the fear into any man. And I'm sorry, but any guy who can wear a mask and go like this to my butt in front of a live crowd, and I didn't even know what happened until afterwards. I've never, ever in my life been so embarrassed.
Why do you keep saying Reggie Marley's the Ebony Rider? Why do you keep saying that?
Scott, hello, have you been hit in the head too many times?
Yes.
Pull the mask off. The guy uses the same finish. He even... Are you kidding me?
It's a coincidence.
Oh, man.
Joey Hallam.
Niagara Falls.
As my verbally challenged friend would like to say, I think Joey Hallam he's got a very bright future in the independent promotions, and I think he's got himself a winner in PWA. But you got to learn to crawl before you walk, and Scott Chase has been walking like an old man for a long time.
Flex Falcone.
Lex, great athlete. He broke my leg once, if I remember correctly. But, if you remember the next night, me and Tyler won the CIWA Tag Team Championship on a broken leg.
I will say this about Flex Falcone. Here's a guy who was in a car accident that almost and should have ended his career. And he got very fat. In fact, he got so fat that he actually started to look pretty good as a fat man. But, he thought that wasn't cool, that wasn't hip, and then he, slimmed down and made the rest of us fat guys look bad. But he truly is. If Scott Chase is considered Brantford's prodigal son, then Flex Falcone is his little brother, because nobody lights up a crowd like Flex has and continues to do, and he's a very good friend.
Cody Steele, or now Cody Diener.
Cody Diener, great wrestler. We touched on that earlier. We gave him the beating of his life when he first started out in Ontario. But he overcame that, and now he's one of the top, if not the top, wrestlers in Ontario.
Yeah, and he's probably the one guy who's come the farthest, I think, in the time that I've been with GLCW. And if they ever do a biography film on Adam Copeland's life, Cody can absolutely play his stand-in as a younger Edge, because, man, I think he's more of a brother than Christian ever was.
And the last name on the list, your former tag team partner, Tyrant Eric Dawson.
Tyrant Eric Dawson. You can say what you want to say about him. The guy is tough as nails. My partner, probably my best friend in the business. I like to ride on him a little bit. Don't even say it. Give him a hard time. But he's always got my back. And if this PWA invasion gets a little out of hand, I might have to call the old Tyrant out. And he's like a little attack dog where all you gotta do is say sick boy.
I will say this for Tyrant. Tyrant is, again, one of those guys, you either love him or you hate him, but he's a great guy, and he will do whatever it takes for this business. And he even has the kind of the makeup to sort of call it quits when he didn't think he could give it his 100% anymore. He gave up 2 knees for GLCW, and I can do nothing but thank him.
Well, our cameraman is cracking up here. It's happened before. What we'll do is we'll come right back here and we'll get some closing moments from these two GLCW nights.
You need to fire that cameraman, I think.
It's the only one I've got.
It is now time for OWR, Ontario Wrestling Recap.
Ontario Wrestling Recap.ftcwf.ca. I am your host. I am Chris the Malone Maloney, as well as
Emmanuel the E-Man Mello.
Once again, thank you for tuning in to OWR, and we'll see you next week.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. I finally get this, whatever he is, out of my studio. Mike, I'd like to thank you, and I want to hear you continue to talk, so we'll have Scott go ahead and throw out your closing comments here.
Well, I don't really have to say too much, just for the fact is that when the show comes around, Scott Chase will be in Brantford GLCW invasion.
Well, you know what? You almost kind of promo.
Let's rewind that.
No, you see, unfortunately, as Warhead found out,
This guy grabbing my thigh. I don't even know what the hell's going on. You're looking at me with love in your eyes. I don't even trust anything that you're saying.
Well, it was a tremendous pleasure, I'd like to say, and as we can tell, he does more speaking in his mind than he does out loud. So, Mike, go ahead.
I'm sorry, all those years that the Hellraisers were the tag team champions.
Just went right out the window.
Tyrant was the guy who did all the talking for a reason. But let me just say, we've had some good laughs here, and I do appreciate you having us on to discuss GLCW. Whether you're a PWA fan or not, or GLCW fan, please, the only thing I want to get out of this, if anything, is respect both federations, because Ontario has been browbeaten, has been kicked in the ass by the Ontario Athletics Commission for so many years that it's about time we have this kind of buzz, this kind of interest in wrestling again. And I say wrestling, not this crap that you see Monday nights where, can I see a nipple slip from you maybe? Can I? Because I'm, see.
But actually, I'll show you the actual one on a clip here.
Okay.
And the fans can enjoy that.
Yeah. Wow. Those are real, by the way.
Oh, I know
Those are real nice. But as I was saying, GLCW, PWA, It's going to be something that you do not want to miss, and win or lose, PWA, you'll get your shot.
Absolutely. Go ahead and plug your website, and I'm going to say get out of my studio.
All right then. ScottChase.cjb.net. Check it out.
GLCwrestling.cjb.net. Notice how he put his own website ahead of GLCW. Of course, I'm trying to beat this out of him somehow, but you know he's a big guy and I'm just smart.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us here for the second week in a row with the two GLCW crew. Don't forget to email me your questions and comments at sportscornerjj@hotmail.com. For Jesse Jones, representing the PWA as the Internet Champion, Mike Flash, Scott Chase, thank you, and I'll see you next week.
We're gonna go get some beers.
Absolutely.
What about this guy? He never pays.
Of course not. By the way, can I get that extra $20?
No.
Are you kidding me? I'm trying to get anything out of him.
Okay, $20.
Trying to get some decent work right out of this guy.
The Sports Corner.